give me a wrench and a few socket things and lugs, and I'll hook that sucker up.
Well, your expertise is just pouring out.
Just make sure you post it for sale in groups he's not a part of, so he can't tell that you're...
the title of my post is like, look what some idiot gave me.
Idiot man gave me too nice of a part. Buy it off me for pennies on the dollar. Make him look the fool. You have been married 3 months to the day. 3-month anniversary. And you're telling me your wife, you think, is already looking forward to you being gone. Not even gone.
No.
Literally outside. So she just wants it enough that you're out of her sight, Steve.
Hey, want to cook like a fat person? Just put ribs and Coke in your pan. That was an oldie but goodie there, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That was a while back.
Yeah, so...
what were we talking about? What recipe has ribs?
Oh, we're watching the copper... I remember. We were watching that golden copper plate, whatever, and the woman just kept throwing garbage into this thing and saying, look at how good it looks.
I can even cook with Coke.
Yeah, just dump a 2-liter in here.
Boy,
it'll cook it right off.
That's going back. It's going back a long way.
Yeah, when I put those together, most of the time it somehow just works out and I can adjust a lot to make the timing work. But this week, it was just a little too short with the ones that I edited, so I shimmied an oldie in there. And one day we're going to have to go through. So now I have a folder, because I do that every week, as everybody who listens knows. I have a folder where I have all of those saved in the crudest shorthand of all time. So someday we're going to have to go through there and play 1 or 2 per episode and try to remember,
try to decode
what the hell
what was going on
those were about. So right now I have 342 of them saved. 342 all the way.
So like that one, was it titled "Want to Cook Like a Fat Person"?
I think. Let me see. I think it was Steve Fat Person. But yeah, like the first one I have listed, Kyle 17-inch sperm killer.
All right.
No idea. So the day is going to come where we have to go down memory lane on a weekly basis and try to figure out what the hell any of these are about.
Yeah. I look forward to that. It's Monday, February 26th, 2018, the year of our Lord. It's the Steve and Kyle podcast. Recording on a Monday for various reasons. I had a big weekend. I had Jeep End.
Yeah, Jeep End 2018.
The Jeep weekend. We'll get to that at some point. But I feel as though something's been bubbling under since you walked in. I know that you had a last week, I think it was like Tuesday or Wednesday night. Mm-hmm. I told you I'd stop over and help you disconnect your old dishwasher, because you guys were getting a new one delivered this weekend. Yep. So figured you had said, I think you had a couple weeks ago, you had, like, before you guys ordered them, you had said to me, hey, getting a new dishwasher and a new stove, should I pay to have them installed, or is it easy to do? Mm-hmm. And I think my response was something like, well, they're pretty easy. It's like an electrical connection, it's a water connection, and like a drain hose.
Yeah. Yep.
I installed the one at our old house. I was planning on installing the one here, but then due to a bunch of tomfoolery by the people delivering it,
had it done.
They screwed up enough where they just said, why don't you just let us install this for you?
Yeah.
I said, great. They installed it for me. But yeah, I've done them a couple of times before. I felt as though I believe I offered. I said I'll be happy to help out.
Sure, absolutely.
And so last week came over to your house and we tried to disconnect it.
Yeah.
First issue. Now I don't want to steal the thunder.
You were there as well as I was that day, so
I'm just going to fill in up to the point that I know of.
Yep.
So I came over to your house, and right off the bat, there was an issue. Of course, there was. Mm-hmm. I said to you, "Okay, well, the first thing is we got to shut off the the shutoff valve.
Yeah.
The water going.
Turn the water to the dishwasher off.
Turn the water to the dishwasher. Now you, off the top of your head, didn't know where the shutoff valve was. Which, whatever. I mean, unless you've shut it off before, you wouldn't know where it is. So typically, what you do is you go to the point directly below the where the dishwasher is. In this case, it's down in like the little living room, rec room area in your basement. So we go down there, and first thing I realize is,
it was
that's a finished ceiling. Yeah. Okay, no big deal. I know point me in the direction of where the water main is. So we went back into your utility room, found your water main, and traced the pipes up the wall. But then at some point they disappear under the drywall, and nowhere is there a shutoff for that pipe.
No, we were tracking the labyrinth of pipes, trying to figure out. And safe to say, what happened is what happened when I looked to shut off my outside faucets for the first year I moved there. It appears that the previous owner finished their basement around all of the valves and pipes without making any type of access panel or anything.
Yeah, normally by those it's a little panel that has like spring clips on it, so you can just pop it up in there. But then if you need to get up there to shut off the valve, you pop the thing out, shut the valve off, and you're good.
Mm-hmm. And so that's why there are two holes in my basement bathroom / laundry room ceiling to get the shut off for the front faucet. So we looked at that, and I had a bad feeling as soon as I knew that, the issue of the outside faucets. I knew this wasn't going to be any easier to locate at all. Mm-hmm. So there's no way to shut off the water to the house, Steve.
So I just said, okay, well, every house has a main shutoff. So you just shut off the power. It's not ideal. Yeah. It's not the ideal situation, but we will just shut off the main, so that way we can disconnect the old dishwasher, get it out of there, and then our plan was to install a shutoff valve underneath the dishwasher, which, again, not the ideal situation. They're supposed to be in a place where you can access them quickly. Right. So if something breaks, you don't have water pouring. You can quickly run and shut the valve.
Quarter turn off.
So we pulled the dishwasher. You disconnected it from the countertop. First problem was we couldn't figure out normally they have like a little kick panel by like a little toe kick where you just pop a couple tabs and that comes off, and then you can access everything underneath it. Well, this one, I don't know, what was it 30 years old? Probably.
It must 25. Be. It was the brand name was Gibson. Which you made the joke. They stopped making dishwashers and started making guitars.
Yeah, because they were failing so badly at dishwashers. So okay, no big deal. You're getting rid of this dishwasher anyway. It's not like you were giving it away, so we just grabbed onto the thing and
wrenched it.
Yeah, just bent it out of the way. I disconnected the electric. We shut off the main water, and then after a bit of a struggle, we got the copper water pipe disconnected.
Yeah, not before, obviously, just little things. It's kind of like when you are putting something all the way together, kind of like when you put the first chair together for the APS 2.0, Steve. And you said the first one you put together, you did it outside the studio and then realized it didn't fit through the doorway.
It didn't fit through the half-price Hobbit hole door.
So you had to go back and take
double price.
Double price Hobbit hole.
I would say half price. It's half size.
You had to go back and remove that. So what had happened here is they installed the dishwasher and then ran an electrical outlet to this island through the leg of the dishwasher.
Yeah, they did. They wrapped the electrical, the cable ran through the leg of the dishwasher. So even after you pulled the dishwasher all the way out, you couldn't just take it and carry it away because there was a wire looped through it.
Yeah.
So then our dishwasher uninstalled now becomes now we have to do some electrical work, which we kind of had to do already because we had to kill the power to the dishwasher.
Right.
But still. Just another unexpected thing because I had to completely uninstall an outlet, pull the wire all the way back through, then snake it back through again, pull it back through the island, hook it up again, turn the breaker back on,
just
test it.
Stupid,
everything's good,
like side thing that had to be remedied, right?
But still, we got all that done, and then we thought, okay, let's head on over to the local hardware store, pick up all the connectors that we need. and we needed a hose, needed a shutoff valve, one or two other little pieces. This is going to be simple.
No problem.
No problem.
And our plan was, because, listen, I am a terrible failure at this in the year 2018. I have no qualms about walking into one of these stores and going, "Excuse me, Mr. Retiree.
Yeah.
Please help me. I don't know what this is."
Especially,
and show him.
especially with this place. We didn't go to the big box store. We went to like the little independent place.
Right.
That you walk down the aisles, and everybody that's there has been there for 25 years, and they're all like contractors or plumbers.
Yeah, well, they all built their own homes from their own hands, as well as their own cars, as well as all of their families' homes.
And as you're walking through the aisle asking questions about like Romex cable and water shutoffs, they're judging you because you're stupid and they're men.
Yeah, their hands are.
That's fine.
Like the calluses are thicker than my fingers.
I know.
Yeah. That's all they know.
So we got to the store. We told the guy exactly what we were working on, and it was a younger guy, so I was already a little concerned. I was trying to make eyes at the older gentleman.
Yeah.
But the young buck intercepted me.
Yeah.
So after a little bit of work, he said, "Okay, it should be this. It should be this. Should be this." Now, in his defense, all of the pieces to the puzzle were there. They just weren't the right sizes.
Right.
But that's on us. We went to the store
with nothing
having
in hand.
not measured one thing.
This is very reminiscent, Steve, of the last time you helped me DIY. And that was the time you helped me repair my failed garage door.
Yeah.
And we went to the store without the actual spring we needed. Not knowing apparently there's colors, without knowing the color of it.
Didn't
we
measure
went to
anything.
a store without looking online. They didn't even have the type of spring we needed.
No.
So we ended up having to make a second trip for that to a different hardware store, bringing the spring in to match it up.
Like in our minds, garage doors, every one of them has one spring. So we just walk in and say, "One spring, please.
Give me one of those for my garage door, sir. It's 2 stalls. I'll take it pronto."
Yeah. That didn't work out. A couple trips later, we finally got the garage door fixed. So when we left the store the first time, I was fairly confident we'd be coming back. I was
home. Not, because I remember saying the words, "If we think it's close, I'll buy it, and I'll bring a bag of garbage back."
Yeah, but you'd rather buy 20 of them and make one trip back
than have to make 5 trips or whatever. So we got that back. I don't even remember. It's within seconds, because there was really one connection we needed to know about, and so it was within 5 seconds. You took it out of the bag, held it up to the connection, go, nope,
not it,
not gonna work.
Sorry, trip back. But at that point, we thought, okay, well, we've already eliminated a bunch of the pieces.
We've narrowed this down.
There's only a wall with, 75 different different little reducers and adapters
couplings
and
valves. And we tried 2. So we're pretty much narrowed it down.
We then went back, returned everything, picked out a few more things, got back to your house. I think we realized we actually bought some of the same parts for a second time.
Because so what? I went back. I literally brought everything back we bought the first time, brought it to the return, put it back on my card. We went back, realized, if we buy this, we will need this. Bought the exact same part, just a different package of it, and decided, let's double down. This is the one.
Okay, so we got back. Shocking. The parts didn't fit.
Within seconds again.
Within seconds. Now, we didn't make a third trip back that night, did we?
No, we only did 2 that night, because we realized at that point the size I needed was an abnormal size.
Yeah, it's a size that this store either didn't have, doesn't exist anymore. Right. We didn't know. So since we had shut off the main, meaning your house now has no water, we then had to, our only option, since we didn't have a shutoff valve that's accessible without smashing up your ceiling, our only option is to, I guess we got to reinstall the dishwasher just so we can hook it up so it keeps the water pressure at bay. So we go out in the garage, drag that old crusty thing back in, lined it up, pushed it back in the hole, and I laid on the floor for about 25 minutes, just making little tiny
tiniest
turns on that wrench because the hookup was there was no swing in the wrench whatsoever. So I just sat there. I think I turned it a 32nd of a turn, and it had to turn. It was the longest fitting ever.
Yeah.
So finally, I said, "All right, turn the water back on." You turn the water back on, and it still dripped. I was like, "You got to be kidding me! I've been tightening this thing for an hour."
Yeah.
So I put the wrench on it. I gave it like 3 more turns. Mm-hmm. All of the water stopped leaking. We parted ways,
knowing what I needed.
Knowing what you needed.
Like we talked about it, and I said, okay, I know I'm going to need this connector to this, this size to this size, into the hose, yada, yada. Because at that point, I had decided by the time I will mess with this again, I will just be getting the new dishwasher. And at that point, I don't care about the shutoff valve because, God willing, I won't have to touch this thing again until I've moved out.
Yeah.
And that was all well and good, Steve. So the old dishwasher, and again, this is threaded on our Twitter account at Steve and Kyle. Yeah. There's probably 10 to 12 tweets, some photographs included. So our first night's tally: 2 trips to the hardware store, same hardware store, 3 total hours.
3 hours, yeah.
And out of that, I got knowledge on how to disconnect a dishwasher and then reconnect it, knowing full well that would help me, knowing what I would need to do when the new dishwasher arrived.
And to add insult to injury, when we reinstalled it, we just hooked up the water. We didn't hook up the electric.
Not even usable.
So we reinstalled it, and it's not usable.
Yeah, which is fine. We'd already planned on that.
Yeah,
so
you just hand wash dishes for a couple days.
Yeah,
no big deal.
No big deal. We'll work around it.
Just like pioneer days, washing dishes by hand.
Yeah,
so
in their big sink
so
of the river.
That was the end. That was the end of my involvement, and I said, I was like, here's what I would do. Next time you take, when the dishwasher gets here, uninstall, shut off your water, uninstall the old one, flip the old one upside down, and you can take that little, the little adapter off the bottom. Yeah. So you could take it to the store, match it up.
No.
You did not do that.
Let me tell you something, Steve.
Okay.
I got a little antsy Saturday. So my outdoor beer festival was canceled.
Yep.
So my Saturday opened wide up. So we ran a few errands, and at one of those errands, there was a plumbing section, and I thought, maybe they got it. Mm-hmm. Again, I walked in here, so I already have a bag of stuff at home that I don't know what the sizes are.
Okay.
I don't know what's in there, and I decide I'm going to grab a few more pieces and see if this is what finally seals the deal.
Correct me if I'm wrong. The store that you stopped at is the least convenient one because it's so far away.
It is the furthest one away. There's actually 2 of the same store closer driving to me than this one.
Okay. Now, let's jump back to my side of things. Mm-hmm. This is fast forward to Saturday night. This is 7:02 p.m.
Yeah.
My buddy Bob was in town, and our plan all week had been we're going to work on the Jeep all day, and then we're going to go out to a bar downtown for dinner, some drinks. So at 7:02 p.m., I sent you a text saying, heading to the bar in about 45 minutes. Mm-hmm. The response I got, sort of unrelated to the statement that I made, I don't know how you got that pipe back on with a wrench, but it is not effing budging at all. And I thought, well, I mean, I had to tighten it. You know, I couldn't leave it loose because it would leak. So I don't want your house leaking. So I'm hoping that was frustration in the moment, and that it wasn't anger.
No, definitely not anger
directed at me.
Definitely not anger.
Okay.
So let's talk for a moment, Steve. If we could quickly interject about righty tighty, lefty loosey.
So I almost said to you because the way that
it's reversed,
you're actually sitting behind the fitting.
Yeah.
So you're going like kind of, I almost said to you like you're pushing the wrench up or pushing the wrench or whatever it was. And so how long did you continue to tighten the fitting?
Well, so when I started working on it and I'm wrenching it one way and you see nothing happening and maybe. So I pull it the correct way, but at that point it's tight enough that there's no give the other way either. And all this time, the water's off, but there's still some water in the line. All this time, it's just tugging on that mounting a little bit. So every few seconds, it's water spraying out the side until I don't even know what spurred it. And I thought, you know what? I bet it's the other way. And Katie may have said something to me about it. And so I rip it and I go, and I threw the wrench on the ground. You gotta be effing kidding me. That was at least 30 minutes trying to get just this fitting off.
Okay.
So
look, it's a mistake that everyone who has ever tried any kind of DIY has ever done. I don't fault you for it.
That one was unbelievable.
The only thing I fault you for is that it took you a half hour.
Yes.
Normally you try, maybe I'm turning it the wrong way. Try it the other way. You figure it out pretty quickly.
But like you said,
I admire your persistence.
But like you said, it's hard to tell with that because you are looking at maybe an 1/8 or 16th of a turn based on where this fitting was every time.
I always have to do the thing where I physically put myself right in no it. So I'm like, wait a minute, okay, it's right there. But if I was over on this side of it, okay.
Right, so I didn't do that. So no worries. We finally got it off, and at this point, I'm ready to impress my bride and say, watch what a real home improver can do. Right?
That's what that's what Chip and Joanna always say.
Yeah, that's what they say. Hey, Joe.
Before they demo the wall, Chip says, "Hey, Joanna, watch what a real home improver can do."
Hey, better get ready for a 7th kid.
So again, this is Saturday. When does your dishwasher get delivered?
Sunday morning.
So you had committed yourselves to no water.
No. I bought the shutoff. I bought shutoff stuff.
Okay. Okay.
Without needing to or caring, I decided I'm getting that shutoff valve in at that point.
You're Kyle.
So
you got this.
It's 2 hours. We take it off, and it's that same immediate realization. About 4 to 5 seconds. None of it fits. I mean, same thing. We were trying both ends of everything. I've got extra washers and inserts everywhere. I don't know what goes to what because I now have bags from 2 stores sitting around.
All mixed up.
And I know the brand, so whatever. It's just it's a pile of garbage.
If you had to estimate total dollars invested into all the pieces, like how much did you shell out? And I know that you returned most of it, but
just total spent.
Total, because you know that those every time you return something for whatever reason it takes 1 second for them to charge your card, but like 7 to 10 days for you to.
It's got to be on hold, right?
Yeah. How much money are you out of pocket?
I would guess $120.
Okay. For pieces. Now remember
the exact same pieces.
These pieces they cost maximum like $3 a piece.
Yeah.
So
that's what you think.
Yeah.
Right? So Saturday night, 2 more hours, same realization, 2nd bag of garbage. Put the same dishwasher back in. The whole me very angrily at this point ruined my Saturday. And I text you. I said, I'm changing my shirt. We're headed down there.
Yeah, because we were actually wondering. Me and Bob were out in the garage. I'm like, yeah, Kyle said he might stop by today. And I know that his beer fest got canceled, so I figured you'd be there.
Yeah.
Coveralls on, toolbox in hand, ready to work.
I was planning on it until this disruption happened. And then I was planning on it Sunday, Steve.
This disruption... that is
caused by me. Yeah, by my
you.
choice.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. So Sunday morning, dishwasher's coming that day at noon.
But now you're an old pro.
I know what I need.
Yeah.
Go to the 3rd home improvement store.
Because it's probably the store. It's the store that's the issue.
Yeah.
It's
different stuff. I walk in there, buy a bunch of garbage.
Have you returned to the other one yet
Yeah.
at this point? So
so I still have 2 bags.
So you just got... You could actually become a plumber with the amount of supplies that you have in your inventory.
In case you're keeping tabs at home, this is now my 4th trip, 3rd home improvement store, 3rd bag of unreturned garbage.
And 4th day.
3rd different day, because we worked on it Thursday, Saturday, and now Sunday.
Okay.
So I get that, and this is before they're going to be there with the dishwasher, and I get back. So I'm like, all right, let's tear this thing out. I got everything I need. I am ready.
Yeah.
Take it out. Realize I don't have anything that I need, Steve. I have the similar pieces to the other 3 trips in different conversion sizes. They're all going to like the different side, but it's like 1/2 to 5/8 and then 5/8 to 1/2. I'm buying like the same stuff, right. And I don't know what I'm looking at. So with plumbing, there's like 3 different fits. There's hex and compression and all. I don't know any of this. In my mind, I might as well throw a PVC pipe on there and be done with it.
Yeah.
So at this point, I have nearly lost all hope. Mm-hmm. So the dishwasher arrives, and I try. I know the parts I have that I can use.
Did you consider at any point when the dishwasher was dropped off? Did you consider saying to the guys there, like, "I'll give you $50 if you just set this thing up"?
There was no opportunity. They carried it over their head, 2 men into the house, dropped it. I don't even know if they said goodbye. They were gone. It was a Sunday delivery. I'm sure they had their designs on being done and going home.
Right.
Totally fine.
Yeah.
Plus, I'm an old pro.
Yeah.
I know what I need.
You're Kyle the plumber.
So now the new dishwasher's there. The water's already off. We can take the old dishwasher out.
You look at your wife and you say something like, "Nah, just go ahead. You relax over there.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Kick back on the couch. Watch one of your stories. Mm-hmm. Papa's got this."
Mm-hmm. Big man in the house. Mm-hmm. Mortgage payer.
That's right
here.
That's right.
Mortgage payer. Callous hands.
Mm-hmm.
Cuts.
Yeah.
Wearing a sweaty hat.
You once built a thing around your garbage cans.
Look at that. It's shielded.
Yeah.
There's wind. There's no wind hitting that thing now.
That's right.
I once made my own patio walkout off of my deck, Steve, and it's not bad.
And it's still there.
Which, in terms of DIY, is the most anybody can hope for, right? So I decide to do what we talked about anyway. And what I do is I take the old fitting off of the fitting off of the old dishwasher, and I bring it to the 4th home improvement store.
So you took the advice of the old pro Steve.
Yep. And the first thing this guy told me, oh, yeah, that's illegal now.
Illegal?
They had a gas connection.
Oh.
Hooked to the... So that's why it was what it was.
Okay. So that's why we couldn't find the parts we need.
Yep.
I had a similar thing happen here when we had our fireplace inspected a couple months ago. We wanted to actually use it. We have a gas fireplace. And the guy came out and he looked at it and he's like, yeah, they're using... It was the opposite, though. They were using a water pipe on a gas line.
Unbelievable.
Or a water shutoff on a gas line.
Between the stupid cord threaded through the leg and the what we saw... And now this is minimal and obviously more behind the scenes than it needs to be with... But instead of running a water hose, which most people do, they just ran the copper water pipe directly to the dishwasher.
Yeah.
Leaving no room to move unless it was disconnected.
Yeah, you can't adjust it at all.
So, in case you're keeping tabs, that was my 5th trip to the 4th store.
Now, did they give any kind of solution?
So this guy, who I ended up talking to, his name was Rick. Man, this guy helped me so much. He laid out the pieces on the ground. He's grabbing all these things. He goes, okay, so it's going to go this way. This hooks onto here. This will hook onto your pipe. Boom. Like this. Make sure you thread it this way. Boom. Done. I had to buy it.
Did you just put it all together and then take it up?
I should have.
And take it up to the cashier and just say, just charge me whatever you want.
Just here's 40. I guarantee you it covers. So I bought all that.
Did he give you a shut off and everything?
Yeah, so I was at this point shut off back in my brain.
All right, yeah,
I can get this done.
Rick's on the case.
Yeah, Rick, the home improvement guru, is on the case.
You got it.
So, I had to buy a tube cutter.
Oh,
at this point. So what had happened was the copper that you and I saw, the fitting on that copper end was obviously for the gas connection, so it was bad. So I had to remove that copper.
So you had to do the whole tighten.
Yeah,
spin,
and I'm terrible at it, and I'm
spin.
I'm so pissed off, Steve, that we're at this point. I'm on hour 8 or 9, or more than that, of connecting this dishwasher after removing the old one. That I'm looking at it, and I realize I'm not even holding it straight, so there's just scores.
It's just
every eighth of an inch.
Instead of cutting it, it's actually like spiraling up and threading it.
Yeah, so I throw it on the ground. Katie has to do it because I can't look at it anymore. So
all right.
No, we get the water hooked up, and I go.
You get a shark bite? Is that what it was? Where like once you cut it, did you just push a connector on and it just snapped?
No, so we needed a compression.
Okay.
Piece go over the copper. You drag a bolt. I still don't know what I did.
Okay,
I have no idea, but it's done, right?
Yeah.
So I go downstairs and I was like, if any water's coming out like a lot, yell because that's bad.
Now at this point, you didn't put the dishwasher. Did you put the dishwasher back in? Okay, so you just hooked it up.
Yep.
And pressurized the line.
Wanted to take a look.
Okay.
No leaks. Hey. Nailed it, right?
Look at this guy.
At this point, I'm home free. Home free, Steve.
So you put the dishwasher in, you hooked up the
drain hose,
water, and turned it back on, and you were washing dishes in 5 minutes, right?
I hooked up that drain hose, Steve.
Mm-hmm.
So, if you want to drain something, let's say you have to connect.
I'm curious as to how this went poorly.
So, when you want to drain something, you want to make sure the source that the water is in will fit in the area the water is going.
Yeah.
So when I say that, I mean the drain hose attached to the dishwasher is now wider than the rubber hose coming from the basement.
Okay.
Which would mean there's always that chance for when water is discharging from the dishwasher, it could leak because why wouldn't it? So we had to make...
Oh, that's right, because your dishwasher's in an island. 'Cause normally they're next to a
the
sink.
Disposer, yeah.
Next to a sink, and it just goes right through the cabinet, right into the drain or into the disposer.
Yeah. Sure. Nope. So we had to make, Steve, the 6th trip to the home improvement store, which I tweeted about. So I gave an update. I said, update, I have decided if I have to go back to the home improvement store, I will instead burn home for insurance check. Our secret. Follow up less than an hour later. In a stunning twist of fate, I have to make a 6th trip. Send in the fire department because there's about to be a disaster the exact size of my home.
Okay.
So we had to go, and I would have never found this part in a million years. I knew what I needed, so I measured, because I've learned from our mistakes. Yeah. I measured the inside diameter of each of these items to know exactly what type of connector I need.
You find Rick again?
Thank God I found Rick. Because the first guy, no idea. And I'm looking in the brass fittings, whatever, any type of area. Nothing. He had to take me to the sprinkler section, Steve. That's the only place they had this stupid plastic piece of junk that would connect these 2 frickin' hoses that I had to then clamp down in the least rewarding success of all time. After 6 hours yesterday, the dishwasher was running at full 100%, Steve. So, 11 hours, 3 days, 6 trips, 4 department stores, 3 bags of garbage to return.
1 Rick.
1 Rick, 1 dishwasher.
I would have paid Rick money.
Yeah.
Just to thank him.
I mean,
like, can you send him a thank you note?
Right. I feel like I should. This is one of those where you tweet and you complain on social media about bad service. I somehow need to get a hold of this place and tell them that Rick was a godsend.
Yep.
Those last 2 trips.
Now, was this a big box?
Yes.
Okay.
Not the one you dislike.
Rick sounds like he's up for employee of the month, or he should be up for employee of the month.
This is one of those guys who, when I told him, like, yeah, so I have this, so I need, I need a reducer from 3/4 to 5/8 inside diameter. He goes, okay, so you need that. And then, boom, and it's like a speeding bullet. Like, he's not, like, walking wondering. No,
he knows.
He's power walking
well, he knows
2
exactly
aisles
where
over.
it is, yeah.
Yeah, and when I'm telling him, like, he reaches down, and it's next to him. Like, oh, okay, thanks, Rick. So, no, it's in. I will never do it again. I will gladly write a check for that next time because that was so not worth it. I appreciate everything. Everything you helped me with, Steve.
I'm happy that because I'll be honest, I was a little nervous. I was a little nervous that you were going to tell me that something we had done or something I had done,
no,
like caused a big disaster, or there was a leak, and now you're your basement's flooded.
Yeah.
But I'm glad to hear that everything worked out. It took, but I mean, you grew as a man, though, right? You feel accomplished.
Built a lot of No, you know what I feel like is that I pissed away a weekend.
Yeah, on it, and all you have to show for it is the exact thing that was there previously.
Yeah, exactly.
A working dishwasher.
Yeah, with a different cover.
Yeah,
like that's all it is. So many thanks to the people.
Every time you put a dish in there, you're gonna think, "That's right, Papa hooked this thing up."
That's right. Take a look at that.
I mean, I couldn't have done it without Rick, but...
Take a look at this, sweet cheeks. See all those connectors? What's funny is one of the random connectors I had bought earlier, thinking this is the size. This is before I had to cut the tube off. Ended up being necessary, somehow. Now, you and I... And now this is vague for anybody listening. It doesn't make sense. Do you remember measuring anything that was 3/4 inch?
Mm-mm.
Yeah, well, it worked.
Nope.
And it's hooked up. And I'm not taking it apart if you pay me to.
So, total dollars spent, how much?
Dishwasher included?
You would set $120 on all the various connectors, but after you've returned everything, what do you think?
Oh, I haven't done...
$15?
Well, because I ended up just buying one of those install kits that had the elbow. So it's like 13 plus the valve, which is like...
Do you think you've spent more in gas?
Maybe. Very good chance, considering the location of the departments, of the big box stores that I went to. Yeah, you're probably right. I probably spent quite a bit of time.
$20 in gas.
Yeah, just getting there. Many thanks to all the people interacting. I had Jared yesterday after one of my tweets. So I'm guessing Steve came over to put it together.
I did see that.
It was that was hurtful. Thank you for that, Jared. There was one other one like that. Oh, Chris Wilson, also assuming you were doing it, because while I'm tweeting this, so I'm guessing the Jeep is still at the shop. So the consensus, Steve, among our Twitter followers was that there's no way I could be simply... There's two ways to look at it. There's no way Kyle could be doing this. He's an idiot, which, again, I've talked about. But kind of conversely, there's no way this could be going this bad without Steve and Kyle doing it together.
Yeah, it's like you pair us up and we're just doubly bad.
Yeah, it somehow equals double the trips and longer the time. Now,
I appreciate that. I can get behind that.
Yeah. Now mark your calendars. In 12 days.
Oh, it's the second half of the fiasco.
The big stove is coming, Steve.
Okay.
So now here's my understanding of a stove. I'm going to pull this thing out. There's going to be one plug into the wall.
Just a regular, like you're plugging in any appliance. Yeah.
And there's going to be one gas line running in. Mm-hmm. That's it.
Yeah.
Shouldn't need any help.
Yeah. But knowing yours, it'll be PVC pipe that the gas is running through.
And then like two shutoffs.
Yeah.
We don't know why.
But one will say don't turn.
Yeah.
Comma, maybe.
Left if you do.
Yeah.
Like we'll never...
What does that mean?
Yeah. So I'm anxious for this. So yeah, my DIY failures are... And this is just the start. We're renovating our entire bathroom this spring.
I can't wait.
Now, granted,
not wait.
Granted, I have my uncle. My uncle is a long time like contractor and handyman, painter, knows all of this stuff. I plan on simply using him for about everything.
Yeah,
to get this done.
You maybe put some paint on the walls.
He's a painter. I'll just have him paint.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
so you're just gonna you're the general contractor then, or the supervisor.
So I'm like that. Is it Property Brothers? One of those home improvement shows where they talk about, well, we got a budget for renovations, but to keep it under that budget, we need you and the family to kick in. So there's like montages of the family with some friendly music in the background while they're all sanding spindles.
Right.
When in actuality,
and they always have that forced happy chat. Like,
yeah.
Boy, this sure is tiring.
How do they do it?
But
I just work on the stock market, honey.
But look at the money we're saving, dear.
Right. Ha, ha, ha. Yeah. So thank goodness that disaster's over. Thank you to Steve for the help. Thank you to Rick from the big box store. Appreciate that as well. Never again. I've decided.
Swearing it off, huh? Swearing off all.
There's no chance that was worth it. Now, if I had paid them a one-time fee, whatever, say it's $75 to install it, even if it's you have to pay for one of those install kits, which is like $15.
Yeah,
that's fine, because at that point they take it out, they see that's wrong, probably immediately.
Yeah, I'm wondering what they would do, because I wonder if they would say like, oh boy, I don't know, we can't do this, we can't install this, we'll refund your money or whatever.
Yeah, maybe.
And then you're just sitting there with a with a dishwasher in your living room.
Yeah, right. Now the only saving grace was able to, like you said, go out for a few beers and a meal Saturday night with you and your wife and Bob in town, and thank you again.
Yeah,
it was on the house. Well, not the house. It was on your house.
Yes. Yeah. We had a bunch of gift cards from this place.
We talked about that, didn't we? Yeah, because we talked about the rehearsal dinner.
Yeah, we had a bunch of gift cards left over because there was like a minimum that you had to spend. We were a little short of that, so thankfully it was very nice of them. They made it up to us with some gift cards, some like hoodie sweatshirts, and a couple T-shirts. So it was great, and I love the place, and it's a special place for me and Annette because it's where
your first date, right?
We went on our first date there. So yeah, we decided to go out there. And
now, do you think that they were back there and they couldn't believe it? That they got someone to rent out that room, like they just kept repeating. Now you understand, the minimum is this much money, right?
Yeah.
And you have how many people coming?
Yeah.
So again, the minimum is this much money, sir.
Well, here's the thing, because there are a couple different ways that you can. Now we didn't rent the whole. It's a huge restaurant. We didn't rent the whole thing, but they have a private like party room.
Yeah,
and that's what we wanted, because it's an actual separate room. So it's just all of us. It's all of us, and we have like privacy in there, and that's what we wanted. But it was a significant amount of money, and let's see, it was my mom had said like, well, I want to, I want to do this for you. I want to throw you guys a rehearsal dinner. We're like, well, that's incredibly generous of you, but this place this is where we want it to be, but we're not going to do it because we can't justify it. And then
get in here. You're not going to believe these idiots.
Yeah.
They really want this room.
This crazy lady, my mom, this crazy lady from New Jersey keeps calling, insisting that they're going to give us this money.
I've made sure she understands how many zeros there are.
We got someone to pay $70,000 for it.
I can't
we only had to give them chicken nuggets.
Yeah. Oh, man. In my mind, they were back there. They couldn't believe it.
Oh, yeah. Somebody is still rolling in the cash.
Yeah. Somebody got a crazy bonus that quarter for the Steve and Annette rehearsal dinner.
Yeah. Just ridiculous. But so we met up. We went out there on Saturday night, had a couple of drinks, had some dinner, and now before we left the house, Bob and I were working out in the garage, and Annette had she had gone out and like just picked up some snacks and stuff and brought them out, put them on the workbench out in the garage, and brought out a bottle of Crown Royal and a can of or a bottle of Sprite. So we each mixed up a drink. Now I had one drink while we were at the house, and then we drove to the restaurant. I ordered a drink before dinner. Dinner came out. I ordered another drink, and I was done. And then at the last second, like we were just about ready to get the check, and I was like, I'll take one more Crown and Sprite, and finish that. And I felt good. I could tell I had a little bit of a buzz, but I wasn't driving, so I didn't have to worry about that. And we got home, and Bob and I went back out and worked in the garage a little bit longer, and then I eventually went to bed, woke up, and I felt like hell all day yesterday.
Oh, no!
And it was like I didn't feel hungover. I did feel hungover. I woke up with a headache. I'm like, oh, this sucks. But whatever, it's a headache, no problem. Pop a couple ibuprofen, drink a lot of water. I'm just dehydrated. Well, I had that headache the entire day, and I had to make a bunch of trips out yesterday, and every time I got in the car, I felt like I was going to barf all over the place.
Oh my! So
until like 5 o'clock when it finally settled.
Do we think mid-30s Steve? Is it coming to a close?
Yeah.
Are we?
Yeah.
Is that sun over the horizon?
Yeah.
Setting a little quicker than you thought, maybe.
Yep. Yeah. It's disappointing because I finally found like the drink that I really like.
Yeah, and you're
after
Max
searching for years.
Yeah,
finally found the drink I like, and it's just I can't even have it anymore.
Now, if it tastes anything like the drink that you gave me at the night of your wedding, at the bar after your wedding,
What did I give you?
Well, it got passed around among about 4 people.
That was the one that supposedly somebody ordered, but nobody knew who ordered it. So,
okay.
So, like, I think I took a sip of it, and I'm like, not mine.
No.
Handed it to somebody else, and handed it to
was horrendous.
Yeah, I don't remember what that was.
So I want in my mind, if that's the type of drink you're mixed for yourself, maybe you had closer to like a double or a triple at home. So is the cutoff 2? Is that where we're at now?
I think 3.
You think
if I had
because you had 4, right?
I had 4, yeah, because I had one at the house, 3 at the
4-hour period.
Probably a little close. Probably 3 hours.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's a sad day, man.
I know.
Are you going to be that guy who's just like when you go out? Because obviously you're well. It's not anymore, but after your heart issue, where you'd go out. Can I get a Cobb salad and a water?
Yeah.
Sir, this is a brewery. Water with lemon?
Craft water? Like, do you have something that's like from a babbling brook or something?
Hop water? You make one of those for me? Like, are you closing in on that guy?
I hope not.
Okay.
I mean, I don't drink a ton as it is.
Right.
So I wouldn't be surprised if my tolerance is essentially nothing at this point.
But it was a big weekend for you. It was. I mean, our social media, our Twitter was abuzz, begging for any updates, Steve.
Was it?
Begging, yeah. There's probably 4 or 5 people asking for updates and a live video. And
I had actually planned on doing that, and I had said to Bob, I think Kyle's going to stop over, and if he does, I think we're going to do a live video. And you didn't stop over, no big deal at all, but we were... it was from the time Bob got here at about 2 o'clock on Friday afternoon, straight up until 7 o'clock yesterday. Actually, no, I think we stopped around 5. Yeah, 5 o'clock yesterday. We did work.
You guys, you rolled up the sleeves and threw some sockets at the
fire.
At the stuff.
Yeah, we did do that. So he got in at about 2 o'clock or 2:30 on Friday. We immediately went to the body shop and picked up the Jeep. Our buddy Sinol and Ryan Young was there with his big old truck. And for the first time, actually, no, I think it was the second time, I actually drove the Jeep up onto the trailer. So that was pretty exciting.
Yeah.
We did a little walk around of it. The guy did beautiful work to it. And I'm really happy with it. So now I had talked to him a couple days earlier, and he said because part of the deal was he's going to paint the fender because the passenger side fender got completely crunched. So he was going to order a new fender, paint it, and install it. And so I knew like on Wednesday of last week that was not going to be done in time for Friday. So I was a little disappointed. But he had said, look, what you can do is just pick it up on Friday, take it back home, work on it all week, drop it back off next week, or drop it back off when you're done. We'll paint the fender, throw it on there. So I was like, all right, cool. I mean, yeah, it's going to be a couple more days that it'll have it, but it's no big deal. I'm still not in a big rush.
Aren't you, though?
I mean, remember, I want to be... I know. I want to go big boy vroom vroom up the sandhill.
You've got the deadline.
Yeah.
Of those, the rip-roaring hill climbs that you so desire for your birthday weekend.
And again, I don't even think I'm going there my birthday weekend. That was just an arbitrary line in the sand. I would like to have it done by, I don't know, my birthday. That would be nice. I think that's a reasonable...
Yeah, so total time now of your Jeep, your new salvage Jeep, spent at the body shop has been...
2.5 weeks.
2.5 weeks.
3 weeks, maybe almost.
And it has to go back.
It's got to go back. Yeah. Now the real disappointing part came because I'm thinking, okay, I'm picking it up today. I'm picking it up on a Friday, taking it home, working on it all weekend. I drop it back off earlier in the week, like early the next week. Right as we're about to leave, he said, yeah, so I'm probably about 2 weeks out before I can get you back in to paint the fender.
Got to be kidding.
And I'm thinking to myself, how am I losing my spot in line?
Yeah.
Like, what happened?
Is there some reevaluation happening?
Because the whole time I was working on it this weekend, he wouldn't have been because it's the weekend and they don't work on the weekends. So it's essentially as if it was at his shop. So if I had left it there, would it still be another 2 weeks?
So now this was chosen, this place, based on the work of the CJ Hammer Niner.
CJ Hammer Niner came out beautiful.
So you decided to double down.
Yeah, I decided to throw him some more business. Plus, I like the guy. He's a very nice man.
Seems like a nice guy.
Yeah.
Are you having regrets?
No.
Really?
I don't know. I don't think so. I just wasn't expecting to lose my spot in line like that.
So you're, by the time presumably you now get the Jeep back, did it go back today?
It didn't go back today.
You are staring down the barrel of 4+ weeks of the Jeep not being in your possession.
Yeah.
Not being able to clean up the bright red blood, all the other
bones,
the other death memorabilia you have in that back seat. I'm assuming from what was no doubt a devastating, life-ending car accident that took place in there.
Yep.
Maybe
both airbags deployed.
Both
seatbelts locked
like
up.
A police chase. Maybe one of those.
It definitely was. It was a theft recovery vehicle.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So there was a death. The guy murdered someone and then got in a police chase with it. Steve, that's what you're telling me?
Well, it doesn't say anything about the murder or a death, but I know that it was a theft recovery. You can add in whatever details you see fit.
Yeah. So Steve's double murder new Jeep.
Double murder.
That was a couple. Lover's Lane, the old Zodiac killer. This guy was on Lover's Lane looking for a new Jeep. Found it.
That's where I find all my new Jeeps.
He thought, you know what? All those new couples are driving, and not those, Corvairs or whatever those things were in those old style movies where you'd see them up at makeout point. No, now it's a Jeep, a 4-door Jeep.
Yeah.
So this no doubt murderer had a Jeep on his mind, went up to makeout point on Lover's Lane, slaughtered these two idiots, threw them in the back, got into a car wreck. That's why that's why you said it looked. I remember the line when you first got in there. You said, it's like someone spilled a can of Coke, or while they were a can of Coke was open or whatever.
Yeah.
Have you considered that it is dried sticky blood from the double murder?
From the double murder. Yeah. I hadn't considered that. It's solely based on the fact that it looks like Coca-Cola and not blood.
Sure.
The two don't really.
Well, you dry one, it kind of looks like.
Does it though?
Yeah. All right, that's fine. So Steve's haunted double murder Jeep is going to be in the shop for 2 more weeks. So now I got an update, a very brief update Saturday when we were out having a drink about how it was going, and I got the impression. Well, I shouldn't even say that. I didn't get the impression because I was told not as far along as we'd like.
No, definitely not.
Did you make up ground before you recap what you've done? Did you make up ground Sunday, or did your drinking-induced nausea
No,
hinder you?
I fought through that.
Okay.
It wasn't great, but I fought through it.
Right.
So Friday night, we got it back to the house, and again, with the help of Cy Nolan Ryan Young, we rolled it off the trailer up. I drove it up into the garage.
Third time you've driven it.
Third time I've driven it. Total, I would say I've driven it up to that point 100 feet. But boy, the 100 feet, they sure were something.
Real smooth.
So the first thing we had to do was take the entire front axle out of the Jeep because of a thing that was broken on it that needed to be re-welded. Luckily, a friend of mine is a master welder, lives right around the corner. And so he said, you get that thing out, I'll come over, we can throw it in the back of my truck, take it over to my house, I'll weld it, we'll bring it back, and you can put it back in. I said, that is fantastic. So Bob had originally said, now Bob's a mechanic, so he knows this stuff. He had said, we'll have that axle out in a half hour.
Is this like my dishwasher?
Yeah, Pretty much.
This is going to be like an 11-hour adventure. Okay.
Yeah. Now, he said, we'll have that out in a half hour. Now, Bob and I have always had this, it's like a running gag. Like, how long do you think that's going to take? 10, 15 minutes. It's the running gag. It never takes 10, 15 minutes. It takes 3-4 hours.
Right.
So by 7 o'clock, we had the axle out. So that's 3 hours that it took us to get it out. And I was thinking, man, this is great. We're flying. I was pretty happy.
6 times the Bob anticipated time for the. So okay, so it's safe to say you are now, according to Bob time, Friday night. You're running 2.5 hours behind schedule.
Yeah, and
with
we're only 3 hours into the project. So we're somehow 2.5 hours behind.
Yeah.
We're only 3 hours in because we pulled away from my house at 7 p.m. and I said to Bob, if we're on our way back to this house by 9 o'clock, we're lucky.
So this is with
the finished welded project. Well, we got to my friend Joe's house. I had to use like some tools to cut off the old mount that's solid metal. It was all mangled. I got the thing off in 10 minutes. I was thinking this is going to take me 45 minutes. Yeah. So got the thing off, grinded it all smooth, and we measured up exactly where the mount needs to go, marked it out. Joe fires up the welder. 10 minutes later, he had the thing welded. We were done. We were back at my house before 8 o'clock.
So you have now, you went from 2.5 hours behind to 1.5 hours behind, 5 hours into the adventure.
Yeah.
Okay. Making up time Friday night already.
Yeah.
That's great.
So we got back to the house, and at this point, we are completely covered, head to toe, in grease, just from rolling around on the ground, rolling underneath the truck. Everything's greasy and grimy. We drag the axle back under the Jeep, and we get everything. Nothing was finalized when we were finished Friday night. Like, nothing was fully bolted back in, but we had, like, all the nuts and bolts were, like, hand tight. And we thought, this is a good place to stop. I'm happy with the amount of work that we got done tonight. We'll wake up tomorrow morning. It's going to be a half hour to tighten everything back up, and then we can start on, because that was the big physical manual labor part of it. The tough part was the airbags. All the airbags were deployed in the vehicle, and Bob's got these, like,
because of the crash post-murder.
Triple murder.
Whole family.
And the dog.
Why? There's no need. It's just sitting there calmly seatbelted in. So unnecessary.
So, we're thinking, okay, we're gonna get back at this early on Saturday morning, and
7:30.
Well, I was up at 7, and I was ready to go, and Bob was up by 8. We were out there working probably by 8:30, and we had realized the night before that when the vehicle was in the crash, the axle twisted. That's why that mount broke, that we had to get rewelded. But it also bent one of the shocks, which I was pretty sure that it had done. But once we took it all apart, it was like confirmation that it was broken. So I was like, all right. So I gotta get 2 new front shocks. No big deal. As we're working on it, Bob reaches down to lift up the axle.
The welded portion?
Yeah, like the whole thing. I mean, the thing weighs a couple hundred pounds. It's a pain in the ass to carry around. So he reaches down to, like, adjust it somehow. Completely rips the crotch out of his pants. We're both dying.
Okay.
I'm making fun of him. Not 2 minutes later, I do the exact same thing. And the crotch blows out of my pants.
Good. Beautiful.
Now I have, they're like my work jeans, like the ones that I'll wear if I'm cutting the grass or doing something where I'm going to get dirty. They're not a nicer pair of jeans. Well, we're like, whatever. We're just going to keep working. No big deal. Well, once we realized the shocks were bent, I go on Craigslist because I'm trying to find a deal on some used shocks. I don't want to spend a couple $100 on new ones.
Yeah, you don't need brand new.
Luckily, I found a guy that had he had taken the shocks. He had put a lift on his Jeep and took the shocks off. He only had them on the vehicle for 1,000 miles. So the guy, I sent him an email real quick. I said, hey, can you meet up in a little while? We're gonna pick these up. He's like, yep, great. So met up with him. Bob and I both get out of the car. We're walking through the parking lot. At that point, I realize I'm wearing crotchless jeans.
Yeah, you and Bob collectively have 1.5 balls hanging out.
So if the man noticed, he was very polite and didn't say anything.
That's nice of him.
And I wore those jeans the entire weekend because I would take them off,
right,
throw them on the floor for the night, put them back on the next day, because I had one pair. I did a purge of my closet a couple weeks ago, and I guess I threw out like all the crappy jeans. And so
is this now, like, are you down to now the crotchless pair and the pair you're wearing? Is that where you're at?
No, I have a bunch of pairs.
Oh, okay.
But they're like nothing
they're
that I want
nice.
to... Yeah, nothing I want to roll.
Yeah.
I mean, I say nice jeans in quotes because they're jeans. They can only be so nice. But,
right,
like, yeah, they're ones that I wear every day. So we ran probably 4 or 5 errands throughout the weekend to different auto parts stores, both wearing jeans.
Nice with some ventilation.
Yeah, with no crotch in them. So we got these shocks back, hooked them all up, and we start to... Trying to get this axle, like, you got to get it centered under the vehicle, side to side, centered front to back, and it's off. It's off by like 4 inches. It's sticking out one side.
I mean, could you make it work? Like, if you just decided that's okay.
I wasn't worried at all because Bob's like, this is normal, and he's a mechanic. Again, he's like, this is totally normal. Once you, it's going to look like it's way off, but as soon as we put the weight back down on the vehicle, it kind of like shifts back into place. It's like you need the weight on it in order for it to kind of center itself. We put the weight back on the vehicle, and it's still not even close. We took that axle in and out, I think 4 times on Saturday. And the half hour that we were anticipating it to take to bolt everything back together took from 8 in the morning until about 3 in the afternoon. Finally, 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
So, by the way, you said... Going to get an early start. Have everything back on there.
Another half-hour prediction by Bob.
30 minutes. So this 30 minutes...
now took 6 hours.
Oh, that's going to dent you.
That's 12 times as long as
That is 12 times. So now this axle has given you 18 times longer than you anticipated. So
and
you
this whole axle thing, this was a project I was hoping to have done before Bob got here. I was hoping to get the Jeep back a week earlier,
right?
Work on that because I knew it was going to be a pain, and I wanted to have that out of the way so we could just focus on the technical stuff, the airbag stuff that he needed his special computer and scanning tools to figure out exactly what was wrong. So
you're at 6 hours now.
At this point, our weekend is half gone.
Yeah, and you have an axle.
we have a rolling vehicle.
Yeah.
Still nothing in front of the engine. There's nothing bolted on at all. So this is about 2 o'clock or so on Saturday. We finally hunkered down. We're like, we are getting these airbags done before we go out to dinner tonight. So we were able to, he was able to diagnose most of it. Now he's got, you know how if your check engine light comes on, take it to the garage and they plug in one of those scanners and they say, oh, you got a code coming up for like a U519, right. And then they look it up. Oh, your oxygen sensor's bad. Well, Bob plugged in his scan tool, and how many codes do you think showed up the first time he plugged it in?
6.
6, huh?
I guess I don't know how many there are.
36 codes.
36. How many are there?
I guess like an infinite number.
What if it's 38? Yeah. What if you have two things that survived the family homicide and car crash
and dog killing?
2 things that survived that.
36 codes.
So that means 36 things you have to fix.
There are 36 things wrong. Now, granted, fixing one sometimes eliminates 2 codes based on, because like the airbags, they have wires that plug into both sides of them.
Oh, okay.
Each one of them counts as 1, but technically you're fixing...
Well, let's be generous then and say you had 25 things to fix.
Roughly.
So I think I'd quit. I think right there I would find the forum that I bought the Jeep in, repost it for whatever pennies on the dollar I could get, and rid myself of this hassle forever.
So, but we were feeling good. We had some momentum behind us. And now you may remember the deal of the century I talked about.
Yeah, no, this old man from Missouri.
Old man from Missouri gave me, he sold me a couple airbags.
Sure.
A bunch of seat belts, a bunch of little sensors, and a little computer module.
Yeah.
So it turned out we didn't need the computer module, which is great. That means I have it. I can now resell it, make a little bit of money back.
Another thing you can sell from underneath this man's nose.
Yes. Yeah.
That's the way you're looking at it.
That's exactly.
Get this man back for cutting you a deal.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Screw him.
Awful nice of you.
Now, there was something the one thing I wanted to do was replace both of the front seat belts. So Bob was working on something with the airbag, so I was like, I'm going to start on the seat belts. Took all the panels out. We took the seats out of the thing. We took the whole center console out of the Jeep.
So what do you have at this point, like, attached vehicle-wise? Because I've heard a lot
of the new parts.
Like, because it sounds like so you just have an axle and no seats. So you have like a bare frame. It's like a Flintstone car.
Yeah.
Like if you sat down on whatever piece of metal and kicked your feet, you could yabba dabba do down the road, right?
Pretty close.
Okay.
Yeah, pretty close. So I started, I'm taking everything apart, and finally, at this point, I am at a point where I can start putting new pieces in. Mm-hmm. So I took the old seatbelt out, and it was completely destroyed. Threw it in the garbage, which felt nice. Like, finally, I'm getting rid of some of these parts, putting in some of the new ones. That parts pile is slowly shrinking down. Get that all done, plugged it back in, plugged in the little connectors, and Bob opened up his scan tool. And a couple of those codes disappeared. Like, hey,
progress,
making progress.
Down to like 30 now.
Yeah. So at that point, Bob had to work on something on the passenger side. So I was like, well, he's not on the driver's side anymore. May as well put that driver's side seatbelt in. I just did the passenger side and know exactly how to do it.
Yeah,
now.
Just reverse the size.
Go over there, take everything apart,
righty tighty, lefty loosey.
Take the old seatbelt out, and man, that was the one thing, that bolt. It took me 25 minutes just to get one bolt out. So I know I feel your pain on the water connection. I was turning the correct way.
Oh, okay.
It was just impossible.
So it wasn't that low of a point.
It was impossible to get this thing out. So I finally got it out, and I celebrated like I had just won the Stanley Cup.
Bob, come look! I got this bolt out.
Running around the street, holding it up over my head. And then I ran inside to get the other seatbelt because some of the new parts were still in the house. I come back out and I'm looking at it. I'm like, this doesn't really look like the one I took out.
Oh, no.
I compare it to the one I took out. Not even close. I walk around to the back of the Jeep where the back seat belts are mounted. Huh.
Oh, no.
Boy, that matches perfectly. The guy accidentally, instead of sending me 2 front seat belts, he sent me 1 front and 1 rear seat belt.
Oh.
So now...
So the deal of the century is quickly becoming... Deal of the century,
yeah, it's kind of dwindling. Now, I don't know if I told you about the issue I had with the airbags that had the paint on them.
Yes. Not on the podcast.
Okay, well, long story short, the airbags that he sent me, in the pictures, they had what looked like red, like, overspray on them from, like, a can of paint.
Yeah, sure.
And he said, don't worry about that.
Can of paint.
Or blood. Very, very thick blood.
Very bright. But
the guy said, don't worry about that. I put some paint thinner on a rag, and it wiped right off. It'll come right off, no problem. Well, I got those things last week, and not even remotely was that paint coming off. Ugh. It was on there. So I ended up having to repaint the pieces to cover up the red paint on them.
Oh, man.
And I had sent him a message saying, hey, man, I know you said that it wipes right off, but It doesn't. And I was kind of pissed about it because I felt like he blatantly lied to me.
Yeah.
And
because the airbags were the main reason for the purchase.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. So he had responded saying like, nope, just go ahead, put some thinner on a rag and it'll wipe right off. And I replied again. I said, again, I did that. It didn't work. And at that point, he didn't respond anymore. So we're not on good terms at this point.
Agree. Yeah, safe
But
to say.
now I have to poke the bear again to tell him,
You sent me a wrong seatbelt.
you sent me the wrong seatbelt. So, thought about it for a little while.
No, before you get there, there's no way you could just turn it upside down
No.
and use it
No.
in the drive. That's not the way
You know something? I could have made the seatbelt itself work, but with those vehicles, they have an electrical connection on them too. So if I didn't plug that back in, then I would still have an airbag light on the dash.
Oh.
The airbag system wouldn't work
Gotcha.
because the rear seatbelts don't have that connector. It's
Pain.
It's part A and I need part B.
Right.
They don't work together.
So you got to go back to the well, talk to old man Missouri.
I got to send old man Missouri a text or a Facebook message. So I thought about it for a while. I'm like, all right, well, this guy probably thinks that I'm pissed at him. If I'm him, I'm not replying at this point. I'm just like, saying, sorry, man, you knew what you were getting.
Yeah.
So swallowed my pride.
Oh, boy.
Sent him a message and said, got those airbags cleaned up. They look great.
So he lied.
Yeah, blatantly lied to him because they don't look great. In fact, I had to find another one, which will be here by the end of the week, to replace the one that he sent
So
me.
Bob's flying back out.
And what do you know? He replied. He said, oh, good to hear. Glad to hear that. And then I said, in the nicest way possible, I was like, man, I apologize, but I think that you accidentally sent me a rear seatbelt instead of a front seatbelt. I'm sure it's an honest mistake, but the one that you sent me won't work. What's your address so I can send it back to you if you can just send me the correct one? And he replied and he said, oh, I'm sorry. I got them all mixed up. That's why I sent you the pictures beforehand so you could see exactly what you were getting. And I said, I know, I appreciate it, but I'm just now taking it apart, so I didn't know exactly what they looked like.
Right, there's no chance you would know exactly what that
I had
would look
nothing
like.
to compare it to.
Right.
I could have gone out and taken it all apart, but I didn't even have the Jeep in my possession
Right.
at that point. So he said, all right, I have it. I said, can you send me a picture of it, like a close-up picture, just so I can confirm? Sends me a close-up picture. I said, that's it. What do we got to do? This was on Sunday, I think. I said, is there any chance you can get it in the mail tomorrow morning, meaning today, Monday morning? He said, I don't know. I'm traveling for work early tomorrow morning, leaving for the airport at 6 a.m. I'll see if I can get my wife to drop it off. Otherwise, I'm out of town for a couple days. And I said to him, well, because I could really, really use it this weekend, and if there's any way you can get it in the mail to me ASAP, that would be great. Mm-hmm. And I have not heard from him today.
Oh,
so
no.
I don't know if it got in the mail.
Oh, boy. We need the Price is Right horn because this deal of the century, Steve, has turned into the dud of the year.
You know something? I still...
You still got value, but you're also getting more headaches than if you had just paid like whatever price.
Oh, there's
knowing what you're getting, right?
Yeah. Now, granted, in hindsight, I wouldn't have had to pay as much because some of the parts I got I didn't need after all, which... but again, I wouldn't have known that. I wanted to get everything that I could possibly need and hope that I didn't need all of it, which ends up being the case. But yeah, it's a little bit of a cluster F. So I'm kind of disappointed about that. I'm confident that this man is a man of his word. He seems like he is, except for that whole, just wipe the paint off with a rag thing. That wasn't very truthful.
So best case scenario, he sends it Wednesday. Now, I know you told him don't use our friends at the United States Postal Service.
Yeah, of course not.
So
that racket. I mean, they'll open it up and throw it in the river. I heard that's what they do with stuff they don't want to deliver.
I won't allow it. I won't stand by while you disparage the good men and women in USPS Blue, Steve. It's unacceptable.
Well.
So your best case scenario is you get it, what, Saturday?
Yeah. I mean, I'm hoping that there's a slight chance that he gets it, that it got in the mail today, and he just hasn't gotten a chance to send it to me
Just
yet.
click on his profile. Go to find his wife. Shoot her a note.
Hey, Toots.
Hey,
Hey.
sweet cheeks.
Hey, why don't you get to the old post office?
Man of the house give you the to-do list today. Did you get it all done? Where's my tracking number?
So that was disappointing.
So you currently have one seat belt.
Currently one seat belt. It's on the passenger side. And the thing that really sucks is if I had looked at it, the passenger seat belt and the driver's seat belt, same exact ones. So I could have installed it on the driver's side, so at least the driver would have a seat belt.
Right.
But I didn't. I could always uninstall that one, but whatever. I'm patient. I'm a patient man. I'll get those parts.
Seems like very patient. I mean, we're at about three times as long just to get the Jeep back.
Yeah.
You're now on the second shipment from the quote-unquote deal of the century.
Mm-hmm. I can't burn this bridge, though, because there are still a couple of little parts that I think I'm going to need, and I may have to go back to that well once again.
You could torch it. Find it elsewhere. The internet's a big place, Steve.
I've tried, man.
You know how many auto supply parts stores there are?
Yeah, quite a few. I've been to all of them in the last 3 days. Every single one of them. So then that brings us up to about the time that we met up with you and Katie for dinner. And then,
which, by the way, you seemed, it was very lovely. It was fun. You were in thought. Your mind was definitely, I think, at the Jeep.
It was, yeah.
There was one point where I actually said to you, I said, "Oh, are we done?" Because you stood up and were just standing to the side of the table.
No, I had because of all the rolling around on the ground and lifting thing. I'm really sore.
Yeah.
My legs were cramping up because we were sitting at the table, and I just needed to get up. So I'm an old guy now who stands up like, oh, my legs are getting stiff.
Where you had to see, just for a walk. The rain, so these knees get all weird.
So, by the way, Friday night I slept like crap because I laid down in bed and my mind's just going like, okay, tomorrow morning we got to get up, we got to do this.
By 8:30 I got the axle back on.
Yeah.
By 9:30 I got the seatbelt on.
So it's just constant in my mind. So when we left the restaurant on Saturday night, Bob and I knew we're going back and we're getting a couple more hours of work.
That was 10:15. I want to say.
Yeah, about that.
So you're putting in the late night shift.
Yeah. So we get back and proceeded to work for, I don't think a couple more, maybe another hour. We worked and just got some stuff reinstalled. We're in the process. We're putting things back in and feeling good. So then went to bed. Woke up Sunday morning, the day of reckoning.
Because this is the last,
this is the last day.
6 to 10 hours that you're going to have Bob there.
Bob's leaving on a jet plane. His flight's scheduled to leave at, I purposely booked, because I booked him the flight.
Bob.
Booked the latest flight.
Poor Bob, man. When he told me that, I thought, he's probably got to go to work Monday morning. So he got in Friday at 2, worked from 4 p.m. to 11, and then Saturday all day, Sunday all day, flew home Sunday night, wakes up Monday morning, works.
Well, I mean, in my defense, I wanted to get him a direct flight, and there was one direct flight, and that was it.
Okay.
So it was either that or he leaves at 2 and doesn't get back until 10. So you may as well give him the shortest time traveling possible. So we woke up Sunday morning, and we're at the point now where the airbags are pretty much done, the axle's done, but there's still a big gaping hole in the front of the Jeep where the radiator, the fan, the transmission cooler, the air conditioning, all of that stuff goes. So we decided to divide and conquer. We made up a list of parts that are I needed to get some engine coolant, I needed some power steering fluid, a bunch of various things. And Bob stayed at the house while I ran out to pick up parts because I had to go to the store that was a 25-minute drive because they were the only ones that had one part in that I didn't know I needed until Sunday morning. And Bob says "Oh, where's the flugema digger?" I don't know. What's that? Here, it's this. Oh, they have it at a store a half hour from here. Go pick it up. Cool. So I drove all the way over there, and then I stopped at another store on the way back, and I needed to get a steer. Okay, now let me do a test right here.
Okay.
If I told you I needed a steering wheel puller, what would you think that is?
Sure. Like a
what would you say a steering wheel puller does?
Yeah, like a hook like for people with one hand, they throw over the top of the steering wheel and pull down to bring it closer to their body.
I guess
right?
I don't feel as bad about the man that I encountered at the parts store.
I mean, that seems like it's
okay. Now put it this way: if you worked at an auto parts store, you would probably know what a steering wheel puller is.
Well, this random man named Rick knew to bring me to a sprinkler aisle to get me a rubber hose coupler or whatever. So, yes, if I worked at such and such auto supply with this specialty of a part in stock, you would know.
Now, a steering wheel puller is exactly what it sounds like. It is a tool to pull a steering wheel off. If you have to remove a steering wheel.
Yeah, so it's pretty close then.
Yeah. We're right on.
One-armed man who has to hook it over to pull it down.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
So I walked into an auto parts store, the second one of the day. It's only 8:30 in the morning on Sunday, and I said, "Hey, man, I need to." It's a store that rents. You can rent tools from them free of charge. You put like a $50 deposit on it.
Oh, okay.
You bring it back, and they give you your money back. So it's great. It's a great deal. So that way you don't have to buy parts that you're only going to use, or buy tools you're only going to use one time. I said, "Hey, man, I need to rent a steering wheel puller," and this guy looks like the most disheveled person in the world. Hair is all over the place, just sticking straight up, like he's still got the crusties in his eyes.
Sure.
I said, "Hey, man, I need to rent a steering wheel puller." "Bro, I don't even know what that is, man."
Really?
And he points down at the counter because they have a list. They have a little chart with all the tools that they rent on them. He's like, "Dude, if it's not on there, I don't know what it is. And even if it is on there, I still don't know what it is."
Oh, my gosh.
And I was like, all right, man. So I look at this chart. I'm like, yeah, this one right here. The one
that says steering wheel
puller?
puller?
One that says steering wheel puller. That's the one I need. All right. So he goes back and he finds somebody else. And he comes back up with this little plastic case. And I open it up. I'm like, yep, that's the one. And he's confused as hell because I'm renting it as opposed to buying it. I don't know. Maybe their system is different.
Yeah.
But he's like, "Dude, I don't know how to do this either." Okay, man. All right. Well, so another guy came over, finally helped him out.
Wow.
And I got out of there. Now, this is, again, Sunday morning. Did you have any issues getting home on Saturday night?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're where we are.
Bunch of roads are closed.
There is not historical, but doesn't happen often at all, flooding of creeks, and then there's a large river that runs through the big city here. A lot of exits closed and major roadways where we live because there's a lot of creeks and things like that are going over the road. So, yeah, it was unpleasant Saturday. I texted you Saturday night. Said, "Boy, that's good to see that inconvenience has been made."
That made things really difficult on Sunday getting from one place to another. It took me an extra 45 minutes.
Oh, no.
Just to figure out how to navigate, how to get home. Finally get home, and to my shock and amazement and gratitude, Bob had put together like half of the front end of the vehicle.
Oh, wow. So you had
that's how long I was gone.
So you had something resembling a vehicle now.
Yeah, we had something resembling a vehicle. We were at the point where once I added some coolant, we were going to be able to start this vehicle. Now, it's run since I've had it. It's just since there's no coolant, there was no radiator, you can only run it for like 30 seconds. You don't want to run it too long. And so I added some power steering fluid, checked the transmission fluid. We had to add a bit of that.
Yeah, got the
all the
wiper fluid.
added the wiper fluid.
Yeah. Check the door handles.
Mm-hmm, yeah, made sure that they were still the door handling.
The license plate light. You're doing
like all the important. I mean the big stuff.
Like we're at steps that you need Bob for at this point.
Yeah, putting a new coexist sticker on the bumper. Yeah, the really important things.
You obviously put in a new pair of Rain-X wiper blades.
Yeah, of course. Little green pine tree air freshener.
Sure.
Aligning the mirrors. The important stuff. Yeah. Bob's covered in grease, and I'm like, hey.
Bob's sitting in grease. You're sitting in the driver's seat going.
So we finally got it all put back together, or as much as we possibly could. There are still a few parts I need that I don't have. Like the headlights aren't on it yet. The front bumper's not on it yet, but that is something that I can do. I could go outside, and 10 minutes from now, the bumper would be on and the headlights would be on.
Did you get that steering wheel pulled?
Got the steering wheel pulled. We replaced the clock spring,
Yeah. Yeah, I had to do that once, too. That's right by the thing where you dump in the oil, right?
yeah, right next to it.
That's what I thought. Yeah, I'd done that a couple times.
So
no big deal.
We finally got it all put back together, checked all the fluids, and
you're ready to fire it up.
Bob's like, all right, hop in, turn the key. Now, granted, I'm getting into a vehicle and starting it up for the first time after both airbags have been replaced.
Oh, boy.
By me, so my trust level pretty low. Granted, I had Bob there, so I felt a little bit more confident. Mm-hmm. We were able to successfully get the 36 codes down to 4. 4. One of them is, or actually 2 of them are the seatbelt issue.
Okay.
Once I get that new seatbelt, it'll be down to 2. And then
when the leaves turn to autumn and you get those you get that seatbelt in.
Yeah. Well, luckily, I also have located one locally in case this one falls through.
Gotcha.
I can get that one, but I'm hoping that I get this one and don't have to pay any more money for it.
Right.
So yeah, we're down to 4 codes. 2 of them will go away with the seatbelt. The other 2, I know what they are. It's just a matter of fixing them. So I hop in, turn the key, starts right up.
Hey.
Which I knew it would because we drove it into the garage. I knew it would start. He's like, all right, put it in gear. Put it in gear, backed it out of the driveway. Now, finally, the power steering, the little reservoir that you put the oil into,
right,
that had broken in the crash. So the couple times I've driven it, it's been like, I would have needed a steering wheel puller to turn that wheel.
Am I right or am I right?
Like a hook. So finally, it runs for a couple minutes. I turn the wheel. The power steering fluid starts circulating through the system. All of a sudden, the wheel turns, no problem. Back it out of the driveway. He's like, all right, put it out it's got to be on level ground so we can check the transmission fluid. So I drive it down the driveway, put it in the just right out in front of the driveway, hop out, check the transmission fluid, and he's like, "I'll take it for a ride." Actually, no, I said to him, I was like, "Can we take it for a ride?" Now, again, this is, well, it's not exactly roadworthy at this point.
So you like you just said, headlights still not on.
Headlights still not on.
So no headlights. Okay.
No bumper.
No
front grill.
Passenger seatbelt.
No fender. No driver's side seatbelt.
So this is like a demo derby car.
Yeah.
That you're carrying to the start line, hoping it makes it to the end.
Yeah.
Good.
We drove it around for like 15 minutes.
Did you?
Drove it all through the neighborhood.
Hey, everything you hoped and dreamed for?
Waved at neighbors that were walking their dogs and looking at it like, I feel like a few body parts are missing from that car.
This is not helping your cause.
Not at all.
You've gone from the sinner to the official garbage neighbor.
Yeah. I was very careful to keep the garage doors shut all weekend while we were working on it. Because I didn't want...
You don't want those looks.
I didn't want the looks.
Yeah.
Plus, the garage was a complete disaster.
Yeah.
I spent 3 hours today when I got home just cleaning up the garage.
Oh, that's awful.
Things were everywhere.
So let me ask you this, because I don't understand cars. So did you end up having to fix that 4 to 6 inch difference, or do you just have like an off kilter Jeep now? Because it just
no. It fixed it. We were able to fix it. You
had a real opportunity to make something unique. Kind of your own there, Steve.
It's like back wheels are in one spot, front wheels are kind of like off to the side.
Yeah.
So it's like I'm driving sideways.
Use one of those pullers so always fight it and keep going straight. You could have made something. It's fine. I mean, just another Jeep on the road. Cool.
So, but it's running. I could drive it to the store right now if I wanted to.
Wow. So in terms of big chores, what do you have left Like that time, and obviously without getting into the specifics, but like time-wise, do you have projects that are, that's a full-day project, that's a full, that's a weekend, or I need help with that type of thing?
Seatbelt is roughly an hour.
So 4.
So 4 hours, yeah. That I have to fix some wiring. That could be a day.
It's a holiday weekend.
That could easily be a day. That's going to be a pain because it's not my level of expertise.
Yeah.
Bumper, no problem. Okay. Like I said, that could go on right now. It's just a lot of little stuff.
Okay.
A lot of little things.
So are you still targeting and hoping for the end of next month, which would be March?
The end of March, yes, no problem.
Okay.
No problem.
Fully done.
I am planning on, when I take it to, because I figure I have about 2 weeks to wait before I can take it to the body shop to get the fender put back on. Mm-hmm. When I take it to him, everything else will be done.
Okay.
So he'll have to, when I get it back from him, it is a running, driving, fully operating vehicle.
Outside of the one piece he's putting on.
Outside of the one piece, yeah. I mean, I could drive it around now if I wanted to.
Right. Just illegally.
Well, no. I mean, there are certain things that T's that have to be crossed and I's that have to be dotted.
Yeah, no, it seems street legal to me. So everything seems on the up and up, Steve.
Yeah. Well, I put a license plate on it.
Hey,
I mean, it's
all they need, right?
Yeah, it's legal now.
Sure. I think it's all the state requires.
Yeah.
So Jeep End?
Got a plate? Put it on.
Jeep End was a success.
Jeep End was a complete success. I don't think that there's a whole lot more that we could have gotten done.
That's good because, like I said, when I saw you Saturday, you said you were not as far along as you'd hoped.
It was stressful.
And I wondered if we were going to have to do one of those today where we had to pause and I go look at it and then give my thoughts based on if it's as far behind as I assumed.
We can go do that if you want.
I have faith in you. I mean, you cleaned the garage. Do
you want to pause? We can pause.
No, we don't have time.
Okay. All right. Well, maybe you'll have to just take a peek on your way out the door.
I will, because I would have preferred to see it with the destroyed garage. Just the idea that it looked like the Tasmanian devil roared through and decided I need to, like, car parts everywhere instead of the desert or whatever. Mm-hmm. And then a Jeep in the middle.
You didn't miss it by much. If you had gotten here like an hour earlier,
it would have still been that.
It was pretty bad.
Oh, man. Well, congratulations, Steve. It sounds like it's coming along.
Congratulations to you, too.
I got a dishwasher.
We both had some successful weekends. I would say total time spent for me working on a Jeep this weekend. Let's see. From 4 o'clock until midnight. So that's an 8-hour day on Friday.
God, that sounds terrible.
So we got 8, plus we started at 8 a.m. on Saturday and worked till 7 p.m., so that's 11 hours, so we're up to 19. Put in another hour afterwards, so let's call it an even 20. And then, we gave it another 8 hours yesterday.
Yeah.
28 hours in 3 days, in 2.5 days.
Well, thanks, Bob.
Yeah.
And thanks for coming to work the weekend and then fly home to go to bed to work.
It was funny yesterday at like 4 o'clock. We just came in from working out in the garage because it's about that time that we have to get, Bob's got to get all packed up and get to the airport. And I said to Annette, I was like, man, we haven't eaten all day since breakfast. We had she had made waffles yesterday morning at like 8 o'clock before we went out in the garage. She's like, you didn't feed Bob all day? You're a terrible host.
Yeah, not fair. Poor Bob.
Yeah, but so she said something to Bob, and he said, that's totally normal for us. Like, whenever we used to work on projects like that, when we'd be working on each other's cars or something, we just wouldn't eat. All of a sudden, we'd realize, oh, it's 2 a.m. We haven't eaten since like breakfast. Let's go find a McDonald's.
Yeah. Boy, that seems awful.
Yeah.
But you enjoyed it? Worth it?
Had a blast.
Good.
Loved every minute of it.
Is there any point where I could have driven by and seen you and Bob in your crotchless jeans? Just white T-shirts with like Def Leppard blaring from the garage?
there were a few low points.
Okay.
With that axle, there was one point where we just kind of sat there for about 45 minutes to an hour, just wondering like how are we gonna figure this out? And he figured it out.
Oh, thank God you had this.
We had to
thank
take
God you had the
everything.
brains.
Yeah, we had to take everything back out of it because it was shifted over, and he's like you couldn't get any leverage to push the axle at all. Like every time you pushed it, it would just spring back. So finally, he realized like there was a point where he's like, well, if I just pull on it this way, if I pry on it this way, it slides right over. And I was like, oh my God! Managed to get a bolt in there that needed to be in there to hold everything in place, and that was it.
Man, the simple joys.
Victory. Yeah,
the
seriously.
simple pleasures of getting an axle in place.
Oh, it was in no way simple. No way simple at all, but it was done. I thank Bob for his tireless service.
Yeah.
They're actually coming, him and his girlfriend are coming out here in April.
Oh, really?
They're going to be out here in like a month and a half.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So
Are you going to put them to work?
Lining up another project.
You're darn right you are. You're darn right.
Well, the plan is for me to be able to pick him up at the airport in the Jeep,
Yeah.
which should not be a problem.
That'll be nice. It'll be a nice thing for him to see all the hard work he put in on that you get to enjoy.
Yeah, plus if it breaks down, I'll have him here to help me.
Yeah, maybe you can do an engine swap while he's in.
Yeah.
Well, so going back to 4.5 minutes in, how was your weekend?
That was good.
Okay,
Yours?
good. Yeah, it was fine.
Fast 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
All right. Boy, yeah,
Me?
this is going to have
You?
to be quick. Yeah, I'll go. Sure. NCAA basketball.
Oh, boy. Hoops, man. Go sports teams.
FBI.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's a real mess, isn't it?
This is an opportunity for me, too. If I wanted to dig like just a little bit under the surface, I could catch you on so much stuff from being just no idea what's going on in the world.
Yeah.
Like, oh boy, that terrorist attack, right?
Well, especially after I did not see any news at all for the last 4 days.
Right. The 2018 Winter Olympics.
How about the men's curling team, right?
Yeah, gold medal, Steve.
Gold medal, yeah. I heard that. I heard from you actually that there was the the
It's
play
being
of
called the shot of the year. It's being called the curling shot of the year. Yeah,
I mean, well, they were. It was the eighth end.
Eighth end, man. They got a 5-banger on it.
You see how that stone
like curled, man.
Yeah,
it's crazy. They
is that what it's called? Curling because they can get.
I think it's got to be
curl around.
I think so. Yeah. Closed up shop yesterday. Closing ceremonies all done.
Yeah, didn't realize that they were over already.
Me neither. But it's like it was 18 days.
Yeah.
Richard Gates. This is probably going to be. You'll recognize it when you hear it, but you probably didn't hear the update on it because you were working.
Richard Gates.
The other name he's linked to is Paul Manafort.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't know. Didn't hear any updates.
Cut a deal, Steve.
Oh, did he?
Cut a sweetheart deal. The pressure is on.
Okay, so what? Well, we'll get back to it.
Okay, the Black Panther.
I heard it's a great movie, breaking box office records.
Unbelievable numbers.
Okay.
$201 million opening weekend. $108 million second weekend.
Now, you obviously saw it. I think did we talk about it?
I never did get to.
You didn't go see it?
Haven't been able to see it with the dishwasher fiasco and a couple other things this week.
You couldn't. Your dishwasher took you so long to install.
Yeah.
That you couldn't go see a 2-hour movie.
Well, plans ended up getting canceled all week. We were supposed to do something Thursday night, but I don't think either of us anticipated a 3-hour removal.
No.
Disaster. But yeah, also, I mean, absolutely incredible for numbers for a superhero movie.
I'll go see it with you.
We need to go see it.
Because Katie's obviously into it.
Yeah, she's go see it. Absolutely.
Into superhero. All right. We just gotta convince Annette.
Just gotta tell Annette we're going to see the Notebook 3. It's still writing or whatever. Still writing. Which again was obviously the finish of the trilogy following the Notebook 2 PS. So to conclude the love story.
They're in talks for the Notebook 4.
It's gotta be a prequel, right?
The next chapter.
The Notebook for the the Notebook for the preamble. It's got to be a prequel, right?
Yeah.
Or the next chapter. That's easier. But yeah, cut a deal. We'll come back to the details of that little. Or that was not. I was talking about Richard Gates. It was one off. Lastly, Jonathan Martin. Now this is a name I don't know if you remember. was a former NFL player, Steve. He was the one who ended up retiring, but had to step away from the Miami Dolphins after bullying accusations. He accused teammates of bullying.
Was that Richie Incognito?
Richie Incognito.
Wait, is that
Maurice
his real
Pouncey.
name?
Yeah. Like Maurice Pouncey. The other offensive linemen, he reported bullying. The case was widespread attention.
Mm-hmm. That was probably 4
years ago.
Okay.
So this past weekend, Jonathan Martin posted on his Instagram story, which is public, a picture of a shotgun with about 6 shells on a bed, and said there's only 2 things to do when you've been bullied: revenge or be a coward. Mm-hmm. And he tagged all of the football players.
Yeah.
That apparently came a few days after he had threatened to shoot up his former school in Florida.
Oh, boy.
30-some miles from Mary Stoneman, I believe is the name. So he is in custody after this.
Probably good.
Safe to say that the bullying thing, obviously you can't discount it. What he encountered as bullying, but you can look back on it now a little bit and say this man obviously has some issues that he has needed help with for a while, which he admitted, and when he retired said, I'm not cut out for this. What a crazy scenario.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, that's definitely scary. Now, the other... What were those other guys still playing?
Yeah.
Did they get...
Incognito essentially had to take a year off because nobody would play him. But yeah, I think he's still with the Buffalo Bills.
Okay.
Still with the Bills, and the Pouncey's still with Miami.
I was wondering if there were any adverse effects for them.
No, because I don't even know if there was punishment. I really don't, because I don't know what the findings were.
Yeah,
it kind of fell by the wayside.
That was a crazy story.
Yeah.
That was a really crazy story.
Before that, the Black Panther we talked about. Got to go see it. I need to see it.
Right.
Everybody in the world's seen it, except for us 2 idiots.
Yeah.
Who have no idea what's going on. But people walking around.
We'll get that fancy bucket that you have.
Yep. Free popcorn for eternity.
Some, Jimmy John's subs. We'll put them on our shirts.
We're back at the sub sandwich.
maybe a Chipotle burrito.
Yeah, sure.
You know,
some chips and salsa with
nice easy stuff to take into
just that tin foil in the middle of the movie.
Nope, these are my M&Ms.
Oh, boy, this plastic candy bag sure is loud. Before that, Richard Gates, one of Trump's former aides who was indicted, along with Paul Manafort, and I'm forgetting the names, but 13 Russian nationals, Paul Manafort, Richard Gates, a couple others have been indicted. Richard Gates cut a deal on Friday, essentially saying he's now going to cooperate with the Mueller investigation. There is the report from NBC saying... If Gates flipped, Trump saying this to friends, if Gates flips, I'm in trouble. So this is kind of a harbinger of what's going to come. I think it's only going to get worse. So I think the idea is to now get Paul Manafort to flip again once everybody starts cutting deals, because why wouldn't you?
Right.
The people above you aren't going to protect you. They're just going to go to the next guy in line
right.
and say, hey, what do you know? And tell them what you know, and then cut you a deal for it, and you're going to be the one doing life in prison.
So what does this mean?
It's just another...
What's going to happen, in your opinion?
It all seems
6
so
months from now,
long.
where are we?
In 6 months, is there, a hearing to impeach the president? Or is there a push to wait until after the November elections to get him to get it to a presumably Democratic Congress, to where any articles of impeachment would be more likely to pass than they would be before people are sworn in?
Do you think that his party would flip on him, though?
I think if there ends up being a majority of Democrats, there's already a few that are flipping. There's already a few the reason that the healthcare thing couldn't pass. And you have independents that typically vote Democratic. I think so. Now, I don't know what I don't know what the details on impeaching are, but I know you need 66 to impeach. And right now the Senate is currently 51 to 49. Let's say they pick up 5 or 6 seats. That's 55 to 45. You still need 10 or 11.
Yeah.
But I think you're going to see a big swing.
Yeah.
There's going to be some...
Do you think that Republicans who haven't been outspoken about him use that as finally the opportunity to...
Well, so I think it's going to come down to, if he's being impeached, do you want to go down with the Titanic and pay the price for it even after the fact? Obviously, where, if that's the easiest campaign fodder ever.
Right.
Hey, you Oh, boy, you defended Trump even after he was being impeached after he colluded with the national adversary.
Yeah.
Yeah, that it's kind of a death knell. I think so. At that point, save what you can of yourself and get off the boat in any lifeboat you can find. And that's what people are doing. That's why they're cutting plea deals. Before that, the 2018 Winter Olympics that came to a close. Pyeongchang, South Korea. I don't know if maybe it was just me, but I don't remember hearing the stories like you did with Rio de Janeiro and Beijing about.
It didn't seem like it was
look at the oil pool and look at the human, Greece. Even they were like murdering all the stray dogs to keep them off the streets.
Yeah,
so.
it didn't seem like. It seemed like South Korea was a decent host.
Yeah,
like they're because you see all those stories about how getting the Olympics is like the kiss of death.
Yeah,
you're millions or hundreds of millions of dollars in debt and
nuts.
Like the Olympic villages that they say, oh, these are going to be luxury condos.
Yeah.
And then years later, they're still vacant.
Yeah, because they're garbage.
There's still pallets of bricks from projects that were never finished.
Right, that will never be finished.
They'll never be done.
All eyes now turn 2 years, Steve. The Tokyo 2020.
For, the
Tokyo. Summer Games in 2020.
You prefer winter or summer games?
Summer. No real reason. I just, I feel like the events are easier to watch, I think. I mean, it's always, you're comparing like the biathlon, things that like really, to the 100-meter dash, which is what everybody's, it's the biggest event people talk about. And just much more fun.
I did watch some biathlon, though.
Me too.
Kind of enjoyed it.
Me too. No, it's weird.
It's just so bizarre. Like, why is this still a sport?
Exactly. And we've talked about that where, the summer games, they've gotten rid of baseball. Yeah. And I know that's traditionally very, very American. Yeah. But it's baseball compared to the biathlon. Like, really?
Did you see the goal that the women's U.S. women's team scored?
Yeah, I forget her name.
Lamoureux Davidson, Jocelyn Lamoureux Davidson or something.
Boy, that doesn't seem American. No, it was amazing. The old triple deke
was nasty.
The old Gordon Bombay. She busted out of the back pocket. The Mighty Ducks.
As soon as I saw it, I quack.
Yep. Quack. 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 Quack, 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 quack.
USA.
Go America.
That was great.
So the Olympic Games, the Winter Olympics wrapped up. Before that, NCAA basketball. Huge news this week. FBI probing an agent, one agency, and leaked about 25 coaches, 20 programs, dozens of athletes being paid improper benefits, ranging all the way from a $100,000 payment down to a $400 lunch or a $400 payment at a lunch. Crazy. This is the talk right now, Steve, is that this is going to have ramifications ranging from either NCAA will have to change to pay their athletes some type of money, or they're going to lose hundreds of athletes and tens and dozens of coaches because of fines, penalties, suspensions, ineligibilities. This is going to be an absolute watershed moment. Like this, something has to happen here.
It's crazy. And supposedly there's audio. I forget who the coach is.
Sean Miller of Arizona.
Actually on a call saying you need to give this guy six figures.
$100,000, yeah. But the reporting around this has been a bit shoddy, to say the least. There's no audio of that yet, so this is all leaks from a source saying this exists. Yeah. This could all end up being conjecture and nothing, right? But presumably, and I think everybody who watches and follows college sports knows this happens.
Yeah.
But this is going to be the first mass reckoning for something like this that could possibly alter college sports forever. Just like the concussion lawsuit. I don't even know if that's ever settled, but the concussion lawsuit and this are two massive, massive moments going forward for college sports. It's nuts.
Yeah, it's interesting to see how that'll work out. It's going to be huge, though.
It has to be.
I mean,
this is going to be in court for years.
Yeah.
And again, it's going to change the system one way or another.
Fast five. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
So I did this thing for the Fast Five.
Oh, God.
Now, I have 5 on there.
Oh, okay.
But I don't know if the first thing that I wrote down, I'm not sure if it was a partial thought, like if I had meant to write more.
Hit me with it. Let's see what we got.
Squirrel.
Hang on. Now, I know it's Fast Five, so I'm supposed to just give you like train of thought, right?
Yeah. Go ahead.
It's a really nice outdoor animal. I like them. I think squirrels are great. I like the way they keep their nuts for winter.
Mm-hmm. In their cheeks.
In their cheeks.
Yeah. I think I know what I was going for with that.
I think their tails are underrated.
I'll elaborate a bit more when we do the recap. Next, Kevin Smith.
Yeah. I can't say I'm overly surprised. You look at the kind of life he lived. Yeah,
supposedly,
crazy news.
But it had lost a ton of weight in the last couple of years. Yeah, it really slimmed down, lost a ton of weight, changed his lifestyle. Now, granted, I don't keep up on Kevin Smith. I just remember reading an article probably 6 months ago about how much weight he's lost and how he's completely changed his diet, and now he exercises all the time.
Go get those EKGs or whatever you have to do to get your heart checked.
Yeah.
That's crazy scary.
Yeah, he was doing some kind of appearance. He was going to have 2 different appearances in one night, like a 6 o'clock and an 8 o'clock or something. And he suffered a massive heart attack in between them, and was taken to the hospital. And he had like 100% blockage in one of his arteries.
Ugh.
Crazy, absolutely crazy. Next, Ronda Rousey.
Oh,
Rowdy Ronda Rousey, the big wrestling championship thing.
Obviously, you're talking about Elimination Chamber.
Torture Chamber. Yeah.
Woo.
Torture Chamber.
Elimination Chamber last night. She made her first real appearance outside of just walking out and pointing and leaving. Yeah. Color me not a fan.
Next, March Madness.
Oh, I'm so ready.
It's coming up, right?
I am so excited.
When's it start? When's it officially?
March 15, I believe, is the day. That's the first day of the... like the first full day of games, and they do that garbage first 4 where the loser teams all try to play their way in on Tuesday and Wednesday that nobody really cares about. But yeah, March 15, I can't wait. One of my favorite weekends of the year is that first weekend, and it happens to coincide with St. Patrick's Day this year.
Yep.
Going to be a big weekend. Love the basketball, the green beer.
All right, finally, Broward County Sheriff's Department.
Yeah, you just start over there then. Fire them all. Start from the bottom up with those.
Obviously, there was a, I guess he's a security guard or sheriff's
officer. They called him, whatever that is.
In the school.
Yep.
Parkland, in Parkland, Florida. And he did not go in when the active shooter was in there a couple of weeks ago. I've also heard that there were 4 that didn't go in. Is that true?
That's the number I heard. It was 4.
Because I also heard that, no, that's not accurate, that was a complete fabrication. But yeah, didn't go in. Did not go in at all.
What a bad...
I'm so torn on this because, I mean, it's easy to say, that was your job. You screwed up. Kids died. I mean, he must have had years and years of training.
Yeah.
Like he had been employed by them for 30-some years, 32 years. The guy will, no doubt, I mean, that will haunt him until the day he dies.
Yeah.
So I feel for him. But I...
for me, it's like a firefighter going up to Fargo. Oh, that's big. I'm not going in.
I know. It's...
Like,
I try to put myself in that situation. Am I going in? Hell no, I'm not going in. But I'm also not trained.
You're not trained with a weapon.
Not trained. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't. Yeah. For me, it seems unforgivable.
You gotta at least try, man.
You have to. Even if you get in there and he's in a different hallway, go to other rooms. Hey, you can get out the back. Go out the back.
Exactly.
Start flying out of here. Whatever.
Yeah. I don't know. I really hate to armchair quarterback.
Oh, you can't.
This type of stuff because I've never been in a situation even remotely close to the hell that must have been. I don't know. It's so disheartening when you hear that the one guy that was there to stop this kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's one thing if he couldn't stop the guy, if he tried and he still got shot or whatever, but it's just, I heard that over the weekend. I was like,
unbelievable news.
Terrible. Absolutely
unbelievable.
Terrible. Before that, we had March Madness just weeks away.
Oh, it's
green beer. Who's your team?
Oh, it's obviously the Michigan State
Spartans. Who's the favorite? Who's at the top of your
Michigan State?
Really?
Yeah. They'll probably they're number one in the country right now.
Mm-hmm.
Probably go into the tournament as a number one seed.
If they win,
yeah.
What is your celebration like?
I don't know, because the last time it happened, they won in 2000, so I was 13, so it was kind of, obviously a different era in my life. I don't know, because honestly, a team that I love, so, I've got my Detroit Lions, and then really it goes Michigan State, has never won it all since I've been an adult.
Right.
I haven't had the Philadelphia Eagles moment for a lot of people. I don't know. I don't know if that's something where I consider taking off of work, maybe going and seeing the team when they get off the plane back at the university and
really?
Come to the big.
You're going to be there?
I'd look into it because it's only an hour away.
Yeah.
I can get there in 1 hour, see the celebration, and oh, man. I don't know. I know when the Detroit Lions win the Super Bowl, there will be tears. There's no question in my mind. I'll be crying like a baby when that happens. So, yeah, this would be close.
Just weeks away.
2.5 weeks. Oh, I'm so excited.
All right, next it was Rowdy Ronda Rousey.
Yeah, made her first official appearance.
Big debut at the torture chamber.
Yep, the torture chest. They brought out all the tools. The torture rack. This is obviously the biggest one. The guillotine.
Now, I watched the video.
Yeah.
I mean, she was just there to sign her contract. And what happened?
All hell broke loose, man.
Triple H and Stephanie, they were up to no good.
Yeah, seems like it. To say,
I thought that when Triple H pulled Stephanie aside to the side of the ring, I thought that things were going to cool off. And then he turned around and Ronda did some trick where she
a big slam thingy
threw him right through a table.
Yeah, boy, she needs some work. Did you hear her talking?
She doesn't have much stage presence. So she doesn't project much.
Yeah. So
like every time I've heard her talk, it's been like, well, I'm here to fight in the WWE.
Right. So in wrestling, it's called, there's two parts of wrestling. Obviously, the actual wrestling physical part, and then the promo. You have to be able to cut a promo is what it's called. And it's the same. It's the video clips you see of Macho Man and the Hulk Hogan and those guys who you're in character and you're threatening people and you're talking the game. She comes out there and she's like a schoolgirl who just got told that somebody has a crush on her. So she's kind of red in the face and grinning and waddling out in her oversized Roddy Piper jacket.
Yeah,
and she grabs the mic and goes, "Hey guys," to the crowd. Like, no, I'm not saying you have to have a developed character and need to be in that character, but you grab that mic and you actually act like you have command of it. She was offensively bad on that level. It was an awful introduction. The ending saved it where she actually got to do, a stare down and some physical activity. And now we probably won't see her again for a month and a half.
Well, they said that her first fight will be at WrestleMania.
At WrestleMania,
and when's
she
that?
won't. First weekend in April.
Okay.
So a month and a half away.
Can't wait.
I can.
I'm going to be there.
Sure.
At your house watching it.
Yes, sir. That'll be it.
I cannot wait. Okay, before that we had Kevin Smith. Poor guy.
Yeah, what a terrible story. You talked about the details. Chris Pratt, did you see that today?
No.
Catching just loads of internet flack, said prayers to Kevin Smith. People weren't having it.
What?
Apparently not good enough. Apparently Chris Pratt not sacrificing his leg for Kevin Smith. And it was the director of Guardians of the Galaxy had to,
what do you want him to do?
Defend him on Twitter and say, what's the deal? Like he said, prayers to, a really weird. The only problem with today's day and age is the internet mob is quicker and more fierce than a reasoned response. I mean,
but like what?
I don't know.
Now, if he had said it differently, if he had said like, just heard about my buddy Kevin Smith. Hopefully
everything's okay.
Hopefully he's on the mend.
Yeah.
Is that better?
Right. I mean, there's nothing wrong with what Chris Pratt said anyway. It's just this instant outrage to everything, I think. That's the problem.
And first on the list, squirrel.
Yeah, like I said, they're an underrated outdoor animal. Right? I mean, you look at those tails, they don't get enough respect. The big bushy tail is what's the most endearing part. But I think what's going understated is their eyes. They're too large for their little head. So when they've got one of those big nuts in their hand, like a big acorn, like That's a top 10 adorable everyday animal, right?
Yeah, definitely. I think that this is what I was talking about. If you look up at the Jumbotron, there was what event was this? Mm-hmm. It was like the downhill slalom snowboarding something or other.
Oh, no!
And watch. Oh, I don't want any audio coming out of that.
Oh, boy.
At least it's a very nice song. Very soothing. Watch as this woman, I believe from Austria, is tearing down the hill.
Oh, no. What are you about to show me?
Don't you worry. Watch out, squirrel. That's what the tweet says.
Yeah.
And here we go. Comes tearing down.
Oh, little buddy. Oh, lost a few...
No, he didn't. Watch from this angle. Got around.
Lost a few whiskers off the tail, probably.
It did that stupid thing that squirrels do where they run all the way out and they're past you. Like when you're driving, they run past your car and then turn around and run back.
Oh, man.
Because they're idiots. It's good to see that the South Korean squirrels are just as dumb as the American squirrels.
Who was the snowboarder?
I thought it was somebody from
Because
Austria.
you're rattled by that, right?
Yeah, Daniela Ulbing from Austria.
So no matter what, you're going to be... There's no way you're meddling after that.
I don't think she saw it.
Oh, really?
I think
it
happened so fast. I don't think that she saw it.
Man.
But yeah, so that was...
Squirrel?
I'm assuming that
my contributions to that video even, I stand by what I said. Underrated outdoor animal.
All right. Well, next time I'll try to have something a little bit more descriptive than squirrel.
I mean, if we want to get into a squirrel debate, we can, because I heard the slander you just lobbed at them, calling them stupid and like idiot animals, and...
They're not smart.
Huh.
They are not smart at all.
Well, this feels like a line in the sand to me.
Is this the new covered bridge?
If we have to go new covered bridge debate... and end of driveway delivery. Squirrel, I will die on the squirrel hill.
Well, I will just restate my stance. Pro UPS, pro FedEx, anti USPS. I'm even pro DHL.
Pro USPS, pro squirrel, pro suspension bridge.
Somebody make that shirt. Send it to me. I'll wear the hell out of that thing.
Oh, man. Yeah, nobody will know what you're talking about, but what a stupid mark. What is that? You have to listen to the podcast.
You just don't know.
No big deal.
All right, we'll talk to you next week. In the meantime, download, subscribe, and review the show on iTunes, the Apple Podcast app, Google Play, TuneIn, Stitcher, YouTube, and Libsyn, StephenKyle.Libsyn, LIBSYN.com, on Twitter at StephenKyle, Facebook.com/StephenKyle.
Mm-hmm.
And I won't even give you our Snapchat anymore because we do not use it.
Yeah.
But again, if you can share an episode, like an episode, just get somebody else to listen to it. It's always greatly appreciated.
That's the best way to help us out. If you care about, if you enjoy the show, you enjoy listening every week, that is the best way you can help us out, and it's very simple.
That's right. Talk to you next week.